Hello, many of you I'm sure recognize immediately where I am standing. This is the back of St. George's Church. On the one hand here you see the confessional on the north side, and then of course the entrance area, and in the middle, and this is what we are here for today, the great painting, the image of St. George's. We've kind of beautified the area a bit. People have helped building a little kind of pedestal, and now we can light these votive candles here and make a prayer to St. George. Always here at the back always is a leaflet which people can either use or also pick up and take home, with a collection of various prayers to St. George, some more modern, some more ancient, some shorter, some longer. We normally keep a big votive candle always burning here as a kind of offering, as a sign of our dedication and veneration for our patron saint. This message, of course, we send out this week because on the 23rd of April, so this is this Thursday, 23rd of April 2020, is the feast of St. George's. I just would like to look at the painting that we have here. So it's a relatively modern, it's not ancient, it's a relatively modern version. And it's a very classic depiction of St. George, right? The saint is there on horseback. The saint really looks like a medieval knight, which in a sense he wasn't. St. George died about 1700 years ago, so a time when there was still persecution of Christians, coming to the end, but there were still heavy persecutions at the beginning of the 4th century. And he will be one of the people who gets killed, gets martyred in these persecutions. The famous story, however, about his life, in a sense, has nothing to do directly with the martyrdom. But instead it is depicted here, as in so many other versions of pictures of St. George and paintings, namely how he kills the dragon. We see the dragon down here, kind of dark, greenish, looking a bit like a dinosaur, ultimately, as often dragons are depicted. And St. George's, with the horse, very beautiful, kind of strong horse that he has here, rides over him and kills him with, the weapon that he has. In the background, slightly, you see this, it looks like a statue, but actually isn't a statue, but you see actually a princess, a young lady, standing there observing what is going on. The story being that she would have been sacrificed to the dragon. The dragon would have killed and eaten her. So the story of St. George is actually quite gruesome, and the dragon is totally a symbol of evil. You could nearly say symbol of the devil. So therefore it is very good that the saint liberates not only the young lady, the young woman, but the whole city that the dragon had terrorized by killing him. The story, of course, is symbolic. The saint, the symbol for the good, the symbol for those people who are connected to God, they triumph over evil. And they triumph not only over evil as souls themselves, but also they are there to help others overcome evil, overcome things that manipulate, that threaten, that could even destroy us. St. George is depicted here, quite, you might say, colorfully, and also he has this kind of red, let's say, cape. The red, of course, indirectly a reminder of the fact that he himself will die for the faith. The red stands for the blood that St. George as a martyr will shed for his own fidelity to Christ. And we also see, though very small here, the symbols of the Christian religion, the small crosses here. This is important because the saints, they all knew, St. George certainly, that it wasn't themselves. It wasn't their own power, their own strength, but it was the help of God that not only motivated them to do what they did, but also helped them succeed. They know that they owed everything, their whole life and ultimately eternal life, to God himself, to God's grace. So I send you many blessings for St. George's Day from our church, especially also to all of you who attend St. George School, the parents, the teachers, the staff, all who are connected to the school one way or the other. May God bless you, especially in this time, and please say a prayer to St. George on his feast day. You can go to our webpage also, and I will include the information below, the link below this video, where we have more, you might say, of the story of St. George. We also have there a little explanation of our logo, the parish logo, which is inspired, in fact, by exactly this kind of motif, and which can therefore help you, to get to know St. George, our patron, a bit better. And if you look on the internet, you will find that there are many churches in the whole world, both in the East and in the West, dedicated to St. George like us. You will also find many prayers that one of them you might be able to use, or else you make up one yourself. All the best on the Feast of St. George. May God bless you, and I really hope that we can soon get together again in this, our church, and also in the school, both dedicated to this great saint.